Hello, welcome again to the Ref Show. People ask, I don't know why, what are we going to talk about during international breaks? Crikey, I've got script after script here, page after page, and I'm going to relegate England below Leagues 1 and 2. That's its rightful place this weekend, isn't it?
Correct.
It is.
Ian agrees, Roger Dilkes agrees. But we'll be talking about Leagues 1 and 2 anyway, I think, because there were 6 red cards. That's quite a high number over one set of fixtures in the bottom divisions. 5 of those were straight reds, which is also quite unusual. 4 of those were in League 1. And the overall tally of 6, well, maybe it should have been 7. I know, Ian, you paid close attention to the derby between Walsall and Shrewsbury, finished 1-1 in League 1. Shrewsbury's goal came from a penalty for, well, what was actually a deliberate denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, handball.
Yes.
And yet no action, no yellow card, no red card. Should have been red.
Should have been red. If he gives the penalty, then the disciplinary action was dog-saw for the handball.
This is Walsall's John Guthrie. You saw it slightly different. You watched it over and over again, this.
I mean, I think Roger's right. I mean, if the penalty's given, there's got to be a red card.
Yeah.
My view is, was there a slight push in the back? Yes. I think the main thing was, for me, and I remember thinking at the time, when he blew the whistle, he then sort of sauntered. By that time, they surrounded him. And then he looks round the corner, can't see anyone. The lad's, Guthrie's gone. He goes to the assistant referee, looks for some confirmation. And to be fair to them, between them, if they don't know, they can't send anyone off, and they didn't know, clearly.
No, they just didn't know. So in that circumstance, Roger, you can't guess. But,
No.
I mean, between them, this should have fixed on the offender, shouldn't they, Guthrie?
Yeah, Ian's right. When that penalty award was given, Graham Salisbury was well outside the penalty area.
Yeah.
So rather than strolling towards the penalty area, he should have got there a lot quicker. And in those circumstances, players wouldn't have had the same opportunity to surround him. He would have certainly picked up Guthrie because he ended up on the floor.
Yeah.
So he had to get up and they're not going to stand there. Professional players are not going to say it's me.
And the referee can't go over and say, excuse me, which of you chaps did that handball there?
Absolutely not.
Because they're not.
Absolutely not.
He's definitely let down by the assistant referee, and I don't like to say that, but he has, because he had a clear, unfettered view of who it was. No keeper, because the keeper was out. It was just the two of them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an injustice on Shrewsbury. I mean, it would have been arguably less of an injustice if the wrong man had been sent off, because they should have been playing against 10.
Yeah, but in the scheme of things, the more I look at that, I think there's definitely a nudge in the back.
Yeah.
So I still contend with that, because I don't think it's not like he played the ball with his arm.
No.
His arm swings and hits the ball for me.
So
So in the end, maybe.
You think in the end it was about
Maybe,
right?
yeah. Well, more by luck than judgment, I've got to say.
Yeah. It wasn't very satisfactory, but sort of got there in the end. Let's have a look at some of these straight red cards. I know you boys have kind of clocked them all here. The first one is quite unusual in itself, in that, you know, foul and abusive language or whatever is almost part of a game. There's swearing going on. Anybody who pretends otherwise is living in cloud cuckoo land. So it's very rare for an outburst to be punished with a red card. Usually it's a yellow. This was Doncaster 4, Southend 1. Congratulations to Ben Whiteman, who's on loan from Sheffield United, with a great hat-trick there in 10 minutes, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah.
The third was a penalty. Southend skipper, Anton Ferdinand, straight red. Some reports said dissent, which can't be right.
Well, we've got to clear that up, because you can't be dismissed for dissent. So, in terms of the reason, that will only come out in the referee's report. And I think Phil Brown will have a look at that very carefully as to what Anton Ferdinand is alleged to have said to the referee and the way that he said it.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be foul or abusive language, and it's probably been said in, no uncertain terms, after a game.
It can't just be an expression of you got that wrong, can it?
Absolutely not. So there's more to it, but to clear up, it's not dissent.
Right.
It's not dissent. He'd not had a yellow card earlier in the game, so it's not 2 yellows. It's a straight red, and therefore it's got to be foul or abusive language.
I suggest that Phil Brown probably won't, when he reads the report, probably won't have.
No.
You know, in the heat of the moment, these things happen. Now, some good referees would ignore that because they can. But you know, if it's as Roger said, if it's done a bit too aggressively, there's no choice. You got to go. I didn't see the actual incident, but I watched it. You can see I've seen the incident on TV. He does. There is an aggressive nature to the way he's going towards the referee.
It's in the referee's armoury, and some critics of officials suggest that it should be used more often.
Yes, indeed.
Jim, what do you think?
Well, I think the situation is that there's things you can manage and you can get away from, and there's things you can't. And as Iain said, in this one, it looks as though Anton's gone a little bit too aggressively in terms of talking to Darren Handley, and Darren's applied the letter of the law. And, you know, that's his right.
Off he goes. There's so many different kinds of dismissals that we're looking about here. This is Scott Oldham's game. The referee, actually, despite his surname, he's from Yorkshire.
He's a Yorkshire lad, yeah.
And he referees a Yorkshire club.
Yes.
Is he?
Yes.
Yeah, he does. He's bang on. I've seen this. He absolutely didn't have a goal scoring opportunity. Clearly, I mean, Tushbero has a bad touch. Lad nicks him. He's no choice. He's right in the middle of the goal. He's outside the box.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's another one to me. I don't really get that. If he's in the box, you give a penalty. Actually, it's more of a you know, you could still miss the penalty, but you're allowed to not get sent off. It seems ridiculous.
It's overcomplicated.
It is.
This was Aaron Shibola of
Yes.
MK Dons getting sent off in their 4-1 defeat to Bradford City.
Yeah. The other thing, Alan, as well, is that this was timed at 216 seconds, and therefore, you know, praise to Scott.
He switched on.
He's a first-year lad. He started, you know, on the ball. You know, with three minutes plus into a game, and he's got a massive decision like that to make. And as Iain said, absolutely got it right.
What about this result? Northampton 0, Bristol Rovers 6. That's astonishing.
Well, do you know what I did the show on Saturday? 6 people or 4 people, I think 4 people guessed that it'd be 6-0.
No.
Yes.
How?
And you know, Soccer 6 they do. 4 people guessed it'd be 6-0.
Goodness gracious.
Incredible. Anyway, so Jimmy.
Is there an investigation?
No, Jimmy thought that's a mate of mine. I mean, he's won the first 2 and then can't win since, lost 5 and got 2.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the sending off's a pivotal moment, nonetheless.
Alex Ravel of Northampton, straight red, violent conduct.
Yeah.
No argument, eh?
No.
None
Didn't
whatsoever.
seem to be from anyone, you know.
Mark Haywood, the referee.
Yeah, ball's in the area, had a good view of it, and the red card came out straight away, and there was no argument. So, you know, all credit to him for seeing it.
And equally, in Wigan's 2-1 win at Scunthorpe, Rob Lewis in charge. Wigan's Lee Evans, a straight red, just...
There's 2 send-offs that. I mean, there's a difference between throwing a headbutt and swinging an elbow intentionally. They're the ones you don't want, or a terrible tackle in the game. They're the ones you don't want. Yeah. Now, if it's an accidental elbow, I think sometimes that's a bit harsh. But this one, I mean, he completely red missed it. He's on loan from Wolves, by the way. Right. I think he's got a bit of history. But anyway, it's not even discussion.
It's a red and a half for you, or even 2 reds. And in League 2, the one red card there, Anthony Backhouse was the referee, Morecambe 0, Crawley 1. This was Kevin Ellison. This was off the ball.
An off the ball incident. And, you know, we've been talking about assistant referees giving referees support. Well, in the last one we talked about, there was support for Rob Lewis from the assistant when he moved Evans to the touchline, and in this one as well, Ellison, Duncan Street, the assistant referee, brought this to the referee's attention. So, you know, you get some referees and assistant referees who are on the same wavelength and they do the job properly. And everybody, you know, goes home happy in that sense. But going back to the original one we talked about at Walsall, assistant referee let him down.
Okay, you saw something involving Accrington Stanley. I think both of you did. And this is something we don't want to see in the game.
Yeah, Iain and I saw it, and this was in the Accrington Stanley Luton Town game, and which Luton Town won 2-0. And Mark Hughes, the number 3 of Accrington Stanley, feigned an injury, and it's diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. He's diving, holding his face as somebody's thumped him or otherwise, and there's just no place for that in this game of ours.
Consider himself named and shamed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, John Coleman, I'm not sure would be. I mean, I know John's loaded on the sidelines anyway, but I don't think he would be very happy with. He wouldn't have it against him. No. You can't. I mean, it is disgusting. I mean, I think it's. I know this can't because he hasn't been booked, but really, they're the 2 game banners. Yeah. It might be. I mean, maybe that's not even more 3. We've seen it. You try to do it. You feign, particularly feigning someone. You get someone else sent off.
Yeah.
That's right. If you could, retrospectively, I think that's something that needs to be done. We want to get out of the game, totally out.
And why am I moving straight on to Dele Alli, as we will do in part two? Bit of a soft penalty. Your guys will take a view on that. In England's victory in Slovenia, but also in part two, it's part of the folklore of the game. That some wonderful tales told by managers, ex-managers and players. Ian's got plenty, but so have referees, and one involving Roger Dilkes. Right. Roger Brooks was somebody I used to work with years ago. Will dominate part two, because it's quite an incredible tale of Newcastle v Sheffield Wednesday. Do rejoin us for that.